Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Behind the Wrestler. And it's the first episode for 2020, and I'm kicking it off with none other than Dorian Weber. Thank you very much for taking the time out and giving us an insight of yourself.
No worries.
First and foremost question, who, when, and where inspired you to become a professional wrestler?
So I didn't watch too much wrestling growing up as a kid. We didn't have Sky or any real means to watch it. So most of my experiences growing up watching it was actually at a friend's house. I'd go around and stay the night, and we'd stay up all night watching wrestling. So I think for me, a lot of the reasons why going into wrestling was inspired by that that kind of social experience and that bond being formed through wrestling, and then just kind of seeing that in other people and realizing that. I think in terms of wrestling that I've watched where I've most seen that, it would probably have to have been Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30. Just that experience, seeing everyone so elated at him winning. I think that was kind of like what confirmed it for me.
And watching Daniel Bryan, because that was his career just took off from then on. And when did you make the decision of I'm gonna pursue becoming a professional wrestler, and how did you go about trying to find a training school here?
I think I started really watching it a lot more in my mid-20s, and then I kind of got interested in more of the British independent scene, seeing things like Progress, and then kind of thinking, well, there must be something like that around here. And just thinking, I have a background in acting. I've been involved with theatre all my life, so I like to perform. I like being up on stage, being in the limelight. So, I think that kind of also influenced me in, being like, I want to give this a shot. And so I just kind of looked online, and Hughes Academy popped up. Trainings are on Saturday, so it was something I could get to, and so just came along.
Walking into your first training session and finishing your first training session, what was the thoughts and the things that you took away from that?
I think firstly, going in, I was completely terrified. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know really how to do anything. Graham just took me aside at the start and showed me how to bump. I think, what I took away from it at the start, I think, was very much that, there was already a established community there, a group of good friends who were just having a lot of fun, and it was a cool group to be a part of, and fun training experience.
And continuing to coming back and carrying on your training and stuff, and then fast forwarding a bit, and then finding out that you're going to be debuting on shows. What was the thoughts going through your mind, and how did you prepare, and how did all of that come about?
the first show I was involved with was the Rumble match. And so I kind of found out about that in, I think, December or January. Then I decided to go and break my ankle in February. So it was kind of all up in the air for me, whether I was going to be ready in time. And then even when I knew I was going to be physically fit, I had skipped about 6 or 7 weeks of training. So there was kind of thoughts in my head of whether I would be ready ring-wise to just jump back into it. And it did just kind of at that point come back quite well. It was, like riding a bike. I think, I was obviously really nervous going into it. I knew that I wouldn't, it wasn't going to be a long match or anything, and I didn't really need to know anything going in, but yeah, it was still nerve-wracking, and then obviously after I finished up in there and came back, the adrenaline was pumping and it felt really good. My first singles match was also a bit of a surprise one. It was against Dan Martins, and I think I found out the Tuesday beforehand. Someone had pulled out late, and so I didn't really have time to be nervous or prepare. It was just kind of,
it's like, hey, you're doing this.
Yeah, it was just, this is happening. I just gotta roll with it. And that, yeah. And
like, going from your wrestling Daniel Martins, who's, a former Hughes Academy champion and, has wrestled for a very, very long time and has wrestled one of the best people in New Zealand wrestling. And then, transitioning from that to going to wrestle the man who trained you, Graham, finding out that you're going to be wrestling Graham Hughes. What was, talk us through all of that match, and how'd you prepare and what'd you take away from it?
Yeah, I mean, Graham let me know pretty much as soon as I came out of the ring from that Daniel Martins match. I came backstage and he's like, congratulations, you're versing me next month. And so
at least he gave you a month's notice.
Yeah, I had a month's notice that time, so I had time to prepare. Obviously it was hugely exciting. I saw it definitely as a chance to really test myself and show what I've got to myself. He made it really easy. I have full trust in him, so I was never worried about being hurt or anything, and
and then wrestling, he is considered the bar of New Zealand wrestling, and he is considered, if you want to make a name for yourself, you have to go up against him, and that's the Alpha Elite Charlie Roberts.
Mm-hmm.
You had the opportunity to wrestle him down at one of our Wellington shows.
Yeah.
And you walked away, because you're on a winning streak at the moment, and you've been, you had the momentum behind you going into this match.
Mm-hmm.
What was, finding out that you're wrestling the Alpha Elite Charlie Roberts and having the match with him and having that experience, what was that all like?
Yeah, definitely. I knew when I found out it was going to be a huge experience to test myself that, he'd want to push me to my limits, and he'd want to bring out the best match he could out of me. Going into it, I had only had one match down in Wellington before that, so I wasn't sure how the crowd would react to me. I didn't know if they'd even remember me. But yeah, definitely, we had planned out a really solid match, and yeah, I felt confident going in to it.
And you know, going away from that match and having the experiences that you've had so far, what is your goal that you would like to achieve as a professional wrestler? Where would you like to see your career go, and what goals do you have set out for yourself?
I'd like to see it go as far as it can, really. Goal-wise, I'd like to wrestle overseas a bit, gain more experience that way. I'd like to wrestle all over New Zealand. I just want to keep having fun with it, just keep enjoying it, really, and see how far it takes me.
What is your goals for 2020? What would you like to achieve in this whole entire year? What is like your top goals that you would like? Yes, I have to achieve this year.
I'm not sure if I have too many, really. I don't think I'm not really looking at it in a way of I need to hit marks in particular years. I think, I'm always told that wrestling's a marathon.
Yes.
And so I'm just looking at, reaching marks and when they happen. I just want to keep growing, keep learning new things, and just keep making each match better than the last one.
And who would you like to verse? And who are your opponents that you're like, I have to earn this match against this person because I really want to wrestle them? Who are the people that you would like to wrestle in New Zealand? And if you have any aspirations of going overseas, where would you go if you had the opportunity?
I think in New Zealand and particularly in Hughes Academy, I'd really like to verse Butler. I've trained with him, and he's really great, and I think we'd be able to have a really good match. Tyler Chase as well, I think would be a lot of fun. Overseas, I'd really like to go over to Britain. And I think it's one of the homes of indie wrestling, and I think if you're wanting to try and make it in the independent scene, that's one of the places you got to go.
Yeah. Is there anything that you would like to say to the viewers?
Just thanks for watching. Thanks for following me in this journey. I'll keep trying to keep you guys entertained, and I hope you stick around and keep coming to shows, and
what is next for Mr. Weber?
Bit of a break. We got a little bit of time off before our next shows, and then we'll be back into it. I like to get some training done, learn a few new tricks during this time, and hopefully come back refreshed and with some new moves to hopefully impress everyone with.
Awesome. Thank you very much for taking the time out and giving us an insight of your story.
No worries. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining us, and I'll catch everybody on the next episode.